Indiana University is in my blood, and I love Indiana University.
And that's what we did. We came out and played together, and we had a passion for the game.
Welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Ryan Turson with Katie Spencer. It's been more than 4 months since Rick Greenspan announced that he would step down as athletic director at Indiana University in the wake of the Calvin Sampson recruiting violations. Now the university can continue to move on, as Tuesday morning Fred Glass of Indianapolis was appointed as the new athletic director by President Michael McRobbie. Ronan O'Shea has more.
Indiana University took the next step in laying the foundation for their new athletic department when they ended their long search on Tuesday morning for Rick Greenspan's successor as athletic director. And they found it in Indiana University alum and Indianapolis lawyer Fred Glass, who was introduced to the media on Tuesday morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you the man who, on the 2nd of January 2009, will become the new Director of Intercollegiate Athletics at Indiana University, Fred Glass.
The opportunity to serve as the athletic director at Indiana University is the most exciting and important thing I will do in my professional life. And that's not only because I'm an Indiana boy, but it's more exciting because I'm an Indiana boy. I am of and from this university in this state.
He gained notoriety as a lawyer at Baker and Daniels in Indianapolis, where he helped finance and build Lucas Oil Stadium, as well as negotiate the 30-year contract to keep the Colts in the Circle City. But on Tuesday morning, he laid the groundwork for his athletic department here in Bloomington.
Comprehensive compliance. We're going to follow the rules. We're going to be known for following the rules. Athletic achievement. We're going to set goals and make sure that our students progress in an appropriate way with their studies and go to class. And then finally, excellence in athletics.
His background in leadership and again management in a variety of areas, and combine that with his passion for IU, I think is most impressive.
To me, the thing that excites me is all the experiences that he's had. I know they haven't all been in athletics per se, but you know, the more you're at these things, all our jobs mirror each other.
So Glass must keep IU's basketball program clean, as Calvin Sampson's mistakes brought Greenspan out of favor in Bloomington.
We're not going to be scared of our own shadow. We're going to recruit appropriately and aggressively, but we're going to follow the rules. I mean, there's just not going to be any substitute for that, and that's where it all starts. And that's why when I give my litany of 3 things, following the rules is not accidentally number 1.
Fred understands that that's a huge part of undertaking any athletic department, and certainly because of what we're going through in a negative light here in men's basketball, it's a big part of Indiana.
But Glass is just happy to be home. A 1981 graduate of IU, he has a sincere appreciation for this university and its traditions.
I met my wife at an IU football game. I proposed to her after an IU football game. They were different games. I didn't really operate that fast. It was a couple years separated. But Indiana University is in my blood, and I love Indiana University.
And he'll have his chance to leave his mark on his alma mater when he takes over the athletic director position on January 2nd. I'm Ronan O'Shea, Hoosier Sports Night.
Every team goes into their homecoming hoping not to disappoint their fans, but after a disappointing start of the season for the Indiana football team, their homecoming game versus Northwestern became make or break. Kellen Lewis was suited up for the game, but it would be Ben Chappell in the starting position. 4th down, the Hoosiers with the high snap to Chris Hagerup, but he reacts well to it and instead rushes the ball 17 yards for a 1st down. It's his only rush this season for the freshman punter. This game-changing play would ultimately set up this one. Ben Chappell takes a snap for a 43-yard pass to freshman DeMarlo Belcher, which would put the Hoosiers up 7-3 in the 1st quarter. Belcher had 1 touchdown and 82 yards. Northwestern setting up for a 22-yard field goal attempt, but there would be a flag on the play against the Hoosiers, and Northwestern would get to try again. Billings was very upset about this call. Instead of re-kicking it, Tyrell Sutton would rush the ball for 1 yard and find the end zone, putting Northwestern up 9-7. Northwestern with the possession now, still in the second half. Tyrell Sutton, the ball carrier, fumbles it, and it would be recovered by Matt Mayberry of the Hoosiers. Hoosiers in the red zone, 2nd and goal. Chappell looking to pass, but instead takes matters into his own hands and rushes it in for the touchdown. This puts the Hoosiers up 14-9. Second half now, Hoosiers still up and putting the pressure on quarterback C.J. Bechet, who would be forced to run the ball 27 yards for the first down. Bechet went 21-34 in the game. Check out this next play right here, pretty impressive. Chappell to Thigpen, Thigpen to wide receiver Mitchell Evans. Sure enough, his skills would prevail as he completes a 28-yard pass to Tandon Doss to put the Hoosiers up 21-12. Third quarter still, Bechet of the Wildcats following in Chappell's footsteps and rushes the ball in himself for a Northwestern touchdown. They still trail by 3. Fourth quarter now, Bechet looking downfield, but his pass would be intercepted by Austin Thomas at the Indiana 32. This play resulted in both teams losing players to injury. Mike Kafka would step in for the Wildcats, but this is what backup quarterbacks do. They throw the ball backwards and lose major yards in key plays, certainly pumping up Jamie Curlew and the rest of the Hoosiers. Northwestern would drive the ball one last time, standing in their own backfield, but the poor guy would be sacked and the ball would be recovered by Greg Middleton to seal the deal for the Hoosiers, snapping a 5-game losing streak, 21-19. Senior Tyrell Sutton was held to his second lowest rushing total of the season, able only to rack up 77 yards on the ground for Northwestern. The Wildcat C.J. Bechet had a day he'd like to forget. Bechet threw for a meager 155 yards on 34 attempts, none of which were over 20 yards, and had 2 interceptions to go with that. On the other hand, Indiana's Ben Chappell effectively managed the game, committing no turnovers while producing a touchdown to go along with his 219 passing yards. The Hoosiers' running backs by committee totaled 72 yards, led by Brian Payton, but Chappell's 3 sacks accounted for 25 yards lost.
Coming up after the break, we continue to break down the Hoosiers' homecoming victory over Northwestern.
And Coach Crean continued to get his young squad ready for the upcoming season with the Cream and Crimson scrimmage. We bring you the action next on Hoosier Sports Night.